Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21. Continuing on with our Moto 3 career mode, Matt Grant on board the Husqvarna is the World Championship leader, and we're here in the French GP. So there is the Championship leader, positioned quite nicely behind Ryusei Yamanaka, and now I'm going to mention something that's very, very important for this Moto 3 career mode going on from here. We will no longer be using any other power setting that is above power setting 1. I'll be honest guys, it's too easy. Moto 3 is too easy with power setting 2 and power setting 3. I basically toyed with Pedro Acosta last time out in Jerez, but I would like to see how difficult it's going to be if we literally stay on power setting 1 and do not touch power setting 2 or 3. So starting off in practice, let's see where we're going to finish up just completely using power setting 1. So of course you are going to notice a massive speed difference on the straights. Even in Yamanaka's slipstream, he is pulling away from us on that Brustal Car Expert GP bike as we now go around the outside. And also I'm looking for a way to turn off that bloody trajectory line when having to do these tests. I may just leave practice and just do qualifying just to avoid that sort of sector study development test. I haven't even touched developing the bike. I think I did a few frame upgrades to start when we first started the game, and that's it. So from now on I will not upgrade the bike, and I will also never go into power setting 2 or 3 unless we crash out or someone takes us out. Maybe then I'll consider swapping it to power setting 3 just to catch up. But for the time being, we want to be doing the rest of this career mode with power setting 1. I think that challenge will only add to the experience of the career mode, add to my enjoyment, and just make it overall more entertaining for you guys, because that's all that matters. I know I can get out to the front and put in ridiculous lap times and completely leave the AI to dust. But for me, that isn't entertaining to watch somebody disappear out into the distance for 40 minutes. So the idea is, make it as tough as possible onto me, and we'll keep this entertaining and keep it developing as we go. If anyone has any ideas, do not hesitate to let me know, because of course there are the classic ideas such as starting from the back of the grid, doing the long lap penalty, going through for a ride through penalty. There's a lot of things we can do, but for the time being I want to keep it relatively realistic. So the idea is that the Husqvarna is slower than the KTMs, that is true. So ideally we want to be using power setting 1 to really replicate the idea of it being slower than the Hondas. So there you go, my logic has come through, my intelligence has finally shined through, and we've got an idea. So fingers crossed guys, hopefully it works. I'm really excited by it because I have inside knowledge that it's going to be very, very good. I have tried this and it does feel great. It's difficult, but it's not hard enough to the point where it's frustrating, it's just a little bit more difficult. It's probably a difficulty level boost that we need as we go up into this sector at the exact same sector time as we did last time. So this is going to be, again, another really good lap. Getting very close to the rumble strip there, close enough to the outside line there, but thankfully we're still on board the Husqvarna and we're on a good lap here. We could very well improve to a 144.3-ish, or maybe even lower depending on how well we do for Recordamont. Coming out to the final corner for turn 14, full acceleration, and we lost a little bit of time, we gained a bit of time, lost a bit, 44.37, oh my goodness, look at that! 1,000th of a second difference. That, ladies and gentlemen, is insane consistency. A 144.371 improved by 1,000th of a second to a 144.370. Brilliant. Can we do it again? That's the question I want to know now. I love to be consistent, and I want to be doing it here. Oh, a little bit out of shape going into La Chapelle, though. Now onto the right-hand side of the tyre. Gentle acceleration here. As you can see, I did scrub a couple of tyres in before the start of this practice session, just because I wanted to make it even more harder by having warm tyres. So I'm considering just using soft tyres from now on as well to make them degrade extremely quick. We've got a lot of ideas, a lot of sort of solutions to make this game more harder, but for the time being, power setting 1 should suffice. Already I think it's going to be a great race, so do not miss it at 8 PM tonight. That is 8 PM GMT, so whatever country you live in. Probably American, because the United States are quite high in my geography right now on my analytics, so shout out to all you Americans watching. Going into the blue S's, the Shimano buff to the right hand side for turn 10. Now going over the rumble stripper, well not quite actually, the rumble stripper there is quite difficult to balance on, so be careful on that one. This one is the blue S's, I got that wrong earlier, turn 11, oh, and we completely butchered it. But for the time being, let's still go because we're getting very, very close to our lap time anyway. So it's still going to be somewhat consistent. It's not going to be consistent enough because we did just invalidate this particular lap, but we're going to be very close when we cross the line. Of course, we're going to have to go full throttle here, full gas, straight across the line, and it's going to be a 1:44.472. So we only lost about a tenth and a bit there. So again, really good consistency. Let's keep this one going. Let's do another lap, and then we'll probably jump into qualifying session after the completion of this one. Keep an eye on our consistency. Fingers crossed we can beat it once again. We haven't quite got... we validated the lap. Goodness me. Well, for the time being, it's still going to be entertaining to see where we get. So we will do the 4 laps, and then we will move on to qualifying 2 or qualifying 1, depending on how this session goes. I'm guessing it'll be automatically done into qualifying 2, because usually the AI doesn't really improve their speed, whether it's the FP2 or FP3. They are roughly about the same. But we are up here by a whopping 0.4 of a second. Granted, we did just cut the corner a little bit. Matt granted. We cut the corner a little bit, but it's still not really enough to make massive difference. We're now going to Garage Vert. Decent acceleration. We're going too close to the apex there as we're fully... Oh! Too much acceleration and Grant goes down. So the championship leader went down into Garage Vert and will no longer be able to compete in this session, but nonetheless, good things are coming because Grant is still in top spot right now, and Gabriel Rodrigo and Mino follow behind. So we now move on to qualifying 2 here in the French GP, but unfortunately, the heavens have indeed opened, and this will be declared a wet session. So looking at the riders that have qualified from Q1, Pedro Acosta, John McPhee, Tatsuki Suzuki and Jeremy Alcoba join the rest of the guys on the grid for qualifying 2. So here we are, qualifying 2. Now I had a bit of trouble on this one, I'm not going to lie. The difficulty with power setting 1 on these particular bikes in this conditions is tough. You lose a lot of time. So I tried the first lap and made a few mistakes. Decided to jump back into the pit and then change over to some fresh rubber. Made another little mistake. And then continued out, so we only have less than 4 minutes remaining in this session. Thankfully no crashes, but still, we have invalidated too many laps and wasted too much time. So we're already down into the first sector. We are currently 18th, with teammate Adrian Fernandez just ahead of us, and Sasaki a little bit further on. John McPhee is currently in provisional pole, with Yamamasa and Tatsuki Suzuki covering those 3 front row spots. Of course, we want to get onto at least the top 3 rows because that's where our objective lies. But 1.7 seconds down. Ooh, it's not looking too promising, truth be told. Careful coming out of Garage Vert this time. We really don't want to lose the front or spin the rear up like we did last time out in free practice. Full gas, full acceleration, full wrist backwards in every single straight because we really need to get the power down. When the power setting is only on 1, it is very difficult. We lose so much time on the straights. Whether it's a small straight, whether it's a long straight, we lose a whopping ton. And as you can see, 2.5 seconds down from Sector 3 to Sector 2. So, of course, 1.7 was the gap from Sector 2. 2.5, it's around 7.5 tenths of a second we are losing just because of a small straight coming out of Garage Vert going into the Shimano buff. Now coming out to record him on for the first time in this qualifying session. And now across the line we will go. It's certainly not going to be anywhere near the top, but it is currently 5th by 3.211 seconds behind the provisional poleman John McPhee. So we have a lot of work to do. And of course this is going to be crucial for the Grand Prix tomorrow. Well, at 8 PM tonight. Because of course, if it rains again and we're on power setting 1, this could be absolutely detrimental to our championship challenge. But under the Dunlop Bridge we go into turn 5 and now onto the right hand side for turn 6 for La Chapelle. Down by 4.5 tenths of a second, and we're not resting on our laurels here. We are shifting. We're doing everything we can on board this Husqvarna. So of course we are still on power setting 1, but it will be interesting to see coming out of Musée how many tenths of a second we lose just by going onto the straight. So again we have another miniature straight here. Going on past the DHL signs, we'll be going into Garage Vert in a moment's time, but that is another 8 tenths of a second we are losing. So Garage Vert not bad. And then on the exit, we lose the time. So it's 5 tenths of a second we are up on our previous time. So of course we are still in the 15th right now. But we're 2 tenths of a second down on Dennis Foggia. And a furthermore to Pedro Acosta, of course, who went into qualifying 1. Breaking into the Shimano buff. Get ready to flick it to the right. Use a rumble strip if you want to for their turn 10. 2.1 seconds behind John McPhee's time. So we're looking at most just getting underneath a 150 lap time. That is certainly not ideal, and we could be starting from a lowly low place. 15th behind that is going to be very tough. Of course, the goal at very least is to get into the 3rd row, because of course that's the team objective, and we can still win from the 3rd row. I mean, we can win from anywhere, but still, it's going to make it very difficult to ourselves. We go across the line now. It's a 1:49.869, which is best 13th place. 40th of 1,000 seconds to Andre Emilio ahead. He's in the pit right now, so of course he won't be doing any fast lap times. So it's down to us to see if we can improve and get onto that front row or anywhere near front row, 2nd row or 3rd. Just we've got to be better off than 4th row. We did lose a lot of time coming out of that corner there. Underneath the Dunlop Bridge, 2 tenths of a second down. We need to be really precise coming out of La Chapelle. We have to get the best drive possible with a smooth acceleration, using every little bit of this power in power setting 1. Of course, I've mentioned that many times, but that's how much the power setting 1 really hinders your performance in the wet. Now, currently, this is my first experience in the wet with the power setting 1, and I don't believe at this point we've had a rainy race. I think we had a wet race, but we didn't have a rainy race. I don't remember. I don't think we've actually had a wet race, but I think we've had a session of the wet at some point, so whether it be a free practice or a qualifying, but I don't believe any race has actually been under the precipitation. We are going to get closer and closer into the Shimano buff. We're down by 3 tenths of a second. This is not going to be enough. We've completely messed that one up. We've slid the rear, and I guess that's session over for Grant, and he will start from 13th on the grid. So a quick recap, John McPhee did take pole position with Jan Mamasi and Tatsuki Suzuki on the front row. Garcia, Rodrigo, Alcoba, Toba, Binder, Tatai. So unfortunately for us, we didn't even make it into the top 10. Tonight's video at 8 PM is going to be pretty tough to make a comeback from, and of course we still have to suffer the power setting 1. So of course we will start from 13th, which is not that bad. It could be unlucky 13 for many, but for us, it could be okay. So guys, thank you very much for watching as always. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment and subscribe. It helps the channel quite a lot. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single DrAce upload. And upon that note guys, thanks for watching, and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now, with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.